Okay, folks, welcome to Swing Trading Today. Sorry I'm a bit late. The more technology we build up here, the more complicated things get, but we're doing it. So let's kick things off with um, a sip of coffee, excuse me, and a reminder that tonight is Thursday night, and that means it's Thursday Night Futures Live. So please join us 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live on YouTube, and we will review the charts. And what we do is we go over the closing price action of the stock market, how we appear poised to close out the week, and what our strategy might be as we proceed into the back half of the week and then on into the following week. So let's kick things off this morning with a look at let's go to the S&P 500. Yesterday was pretty much of a shaky day. I had a bunch of buddies of mine saying that they were looking to get short. Some got short. They wanted to know my thoughts. I said, I'm not getting short. I can't do it right now. I just can't do it. And they said, that's right. They said that. It hurt my feelings. So, as we open up this morning, we're looking at the NASDAQ 100. I didn't pick up the S&P 500. As we look at the NASDAQ 100, we are up. We're off session highs. We're up just shy of a quarter percentage point, up above the psychologically important 10,000 mark. Let's go to the S&P 500. The S&Ps are up slightly. What we need to see here is a rally up and through the 3131 mark on the S&P 500, and that's a good ways away. And we need to worry if we begin to fail and trade down below the 3067 mark. At current, we're at 3108 spot 50 in the pre-markets. We have a fairly tight trading range here. There's not much in terms of economic data coming out today. Wrong color. All right. And there we go. There's our trading range. RSI, we continue to drift sideways. I still have to say I think odds favor bulls. Shorting right now is just so difficult with the Fed put. I mean, the main argument I have, and I think Jim Bianco, he's an investment advisor, a fund manager, shares the same opinion as I do, is that when you have an economy with the potential of so much upward surprise in terms of positive economic data, and add to that, and this is not Bianco's opinion, that I personally believe that just like you saw in The Big Short, you have a lot of hedge funds which are underweight this market. They missed a big run up, and they want to get short the market. And so they have it in their own best interest to try to jawbone this market down lower with more fear-mongering about Corona. And I think it's hogwash. And even if you saw spikes, people aren't going to stand for being locked down much more. People are losing their freaking minds. You'd summer out, people aren't going to stand for it. So the S&P 500 looking good. Again, I think odds favor bulls. The Russell. All right, so the Russell 2000, which is the Russell Small Cap Index, it's up slightly, like the S&P 500. It's just barely up. We're in a tight trading range. I don't like the late day sell-off that we saw pretty much across the board, not just the Russell 2000, but across the board in the markets. That type of fading is indicative of a market that is it's weak. It's weak. You want to see a market close strong. Good morning, NY. Scott Miners out yesterday, said S&P to 2,200 or as low as 1,600. He's entitled to his opinion. You know, what firm is he with? Any idea? You know, I don't understand how he thinks we're going to get down there. You know, if you didn't have the Federal Reserve in there buying corporate bonds, I would say, okay, I'd be the first one to say, okay, you know what? He's probably right. And we should have been there already. Frankly, right? All the stars are in alignment. The only way he's going to get down to 2,200 on the S&P is if you see inflation, and I'm talking about rampant inflation, and this market is in big trouble because the Federal Reserve may just have to do their job and fight inflation, raise interest rates, and then let's talk about S&P 2,200. But when you have the Federal Reserve in there buying corporate bonds and junk bonds, no less, I mean, what are we supposed to do here? Because they're only a stone's throw away from buying equities. And if you think that we've seen a rally so far, wait till they start buying stocks. I'd like to hear his. He's with Guggenheim. He's entitled to his opinion. I don't think he's appreciating the macro picture here. I really don't. But again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Scott Miners, isn't he the one that always goes to battle with Peter Schiff? Hold on, I got to look this up. I had to see this guy's face. Oh, no, it's not. I don't think it is. No, it's not. It's not. I know this guy. I don't remember. I've seen him speak. I heard him speak before. I don't know whether or not I disagree with him longer term. My visceral reaction is not negative. I think I've agreed with him in the past. Okay. Trip Qs. They are flirting here with a breakout. And they're the closest of the indexes to new all-time highs. Tola Swedish. I shorted and got effed, sore bum. Yeah, a lot of people have been there. I'm sorry to hear that, but a lot of people have been there. I'm surprised that a lot of equity managers decided they were going to fight the Fed. And let's face it, history has shown us not to fight the Fed. Let's move on to what do we want to talk about next? What symbol? Bitcoin. I haven't taken a look at Bitcoin in a while. It's broken down. Back down below 10,000. Can't hold 10,000. I think the last time we looked at it, it looked pretty positive. Excuse me. Here's a weekly chart. We're up on the week. We broke weekly support. We were in a wedge formation. We broke down last week. And that just goes to show you, every time I look at Bitcoin, if the market's down, Bitcoin is down, I just don't get the store of value story here. Somebody needs to explain this price action to me because I don't see the value. Now, speaking of value, what you need to be looking at far more closely, as am I, I'm going to be looking to put on a lot more gold mining stocks. Let's bring up silver first since it's in front of me. Beautiful price action this week on silver. Very, very nice price action. 4-hour chart. We were talking about the head and shoulders setup, excuse me, on a 4-hour basis. New York Jets, any chance the Fed buys gold and silver ETFs? When and if we get inflation, it'll probably be too expensive for them. There was rumor that they were thinking about buying gold last week. I was kind of surprised to hear that. It's probably just rumor. They hate gold. So is there a chance? Sure. I think ultimately we're going to have to go to a gold standard again. That's the only way to get things back in order. Or we're going to have to find a new currency, one of the two. All right, so silver 4-hour chart, head and shoulders setup. I think it's going to get negated. I think we're breaking out here, ultimately on silver. Where's my gold? Here it is. Gold continuation breakout. We broke out yesterday on a daily basis. We have a continuation move higher today. Very, very nice price action here this morning on gold, up over a half percentage point. Let's take a look at a weekly chart out of curiosity. Very nice. Bullish reversal bar on the week. Very, very nice price action here. Let's take a look at bonds. Where are my bonds? Here is the 10-year note. And we are up slightly on the session, which means that yields are being pushed down yet again. And I don't know how we short stocks. I just don't know how we short stocks right now. Could we correct? Sure. Are we going to 2,200? Not before the election. I don't think. Whenever I have conviction in my voice, all of a sudden I get smacked by the market. Have to be humble. All right, so here's what we've been seeing this over and over and over again of late. VIX futures up, S&P 500 up. I will point out that at least on this 4-hour chart, we have broken support. This was yesterday. Here we are this morning trying to recapture the lower band of support. So it appears as though we have a little bit of underlying weakness on the VIX technically. Let's go back to the S&P 500 for a moment. See if it's still up. Yep, it's still up. All right, so that's a bit of a divergence. We've seen this multiple times already. We've spoken about it. Nat gas. We were up yesterday on nat gas finally. But while we're up about just shy of a third of a percentage point this morning, I'm not getting the warm and fuzzies here. So maybe we'll rally up to 1.7. But in all probability, I think that we're probably just going to remain in a trading range here. And vacillate for a while. So I wouldn't be a buyer of nat gas right now. I mean, let's take a look at a weekly chart. You know, if we recaptured 1.70 on the week and close there, that would be bullish for nat gas going into next week. But we're a long ways away from there. That's the optimistic case. All right, I'm going to go to 5:30 this morning. I'm going to bring up some charts. And for those folks just joining in, remember, we're going to be going live tonight for Thursday Night Futures Live. So please join us there, especially those folks that are listening to us now on Apple iTunes. We're now podcasting, and we're also on Google Play. So please join us. I need to bring up And members that are listening, I have Market Wrap, which didn't go out last night for whatever reason, but I'll send it out immediately following this morning's commentary. I'll take some chart requests. And for those folks that are listening on iTunes and you have access to messaging, you can certainly input a chart request if you like. And again, we'll go to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time this morning. Load, LODE. I love the name. From Mining Company. That's great. Comstock Mining Inc. Weekly. Nice price action here. This is a weekly chart. We broke out above resistance this week at spot 673. We hit resistance yesterday, last seen back in February at spot 756. I think you could add more on a close above that level. You have resistance above at spot 83. Actually, spot 853. Sorry about that. And that is marked by this resistance level here in green. I'm going to set an alert here because I'd like to know if we break out above it. All right, possible long entry. Okay. So our alert is set. I would also look to add on a retest back down to spot 673. I'm not saying it's going there, but if you're looking for a pullback, that's the support level I'd be watching. The daily chart still looks healthy, a bit extended, but it still looks healthy. Nice setup. I like the trade. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see what the airlines are doing. If you want to know what this market's going to do, folks, look at these stocks. Look at your cruise lining stocks. Look at the airline stocks. Look at the recovery plays, restaurant stocks. If they're rallying, if they're moving up higher, as frankly American Airlines did yesterday, it broke out yesterday above resistance. You know, if these stocks are going to rally, this market's going to rally. These are the recovery plays. Everybody's worried about a resurgence in COVID and blah, 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 blah. Any reason to go running for the hills. So, good breakout yesterday on American Airlines. Let's check out the weekly chart. Weekly chart is back above resistance at 1698. If we close where we're at on American Airlines, we'll probably get a retest of that support level next week, and that would be a buy signal. It would be a good place to open up a position and use a stop loss just below. NCHL, now Star Cruises. That's Norwegian Cruise Line, Kurt? NCHL. Can you just check that symbol for me? NCHL. I don't think that's the right symbol, brother. Yeah, you inverted it. No big deal. NCLH. NCLH. There we go. Okay. Let's take a look at it. I remember an interview on Bloomberg that the CEO did just as Corona, COVID, whatever they call it, began to become a real threat. And he said he had zero exposure. I think he was talking his book. I don't think he had all the facts. I don't think anybody had all the facts back then. But do we know that to be a fact? Have they had any exposure whatsoever to COVID on their ships? I'm not expecting you to have this answer. If you don't, no big deal. So $18 a share looks pretty good. I don't know. I like the setup. I mean, the weekly chart doesn't look great. Don't get me wrong. We have big topping action. We're off the highs of the week. That's not good. Daily chart, we're pulling back to support. You have the rising 20-period moving average, which is good. I think we're moving up higher here, and I'll tell you why. I'm taking a look at my Stokes. They appear to be setting up a higher low. And RSI might be doing the same. I don't think we're breaking. Okay, CCL did. Maybe. I'm not quoting you. Now, CCL, we already know they've had investment money move in there. Some chic moved in there. Very similar price action as with Norwegian. This is a weekly chart. We're off the highs of the week. I think that we may get support if we push back lower to about $15 a share. Daily chart. Very similar setup on Stokes here. Here you have it. So think about it. Yesterday was a weekday, but airlines were up. The cruise liners may be setting up here for a rally. Let's take a look on the stock charts. Yeah, this is not a bad chart. And volume yesterday across the board was not horrible. Look at this down volume. It was very light. You know, your indicators are not great. I don't like the Stokes down below 50 because rallies tend to fade, as we saw yesterday and the day prior. But it's not a bad chart. It's just, for a recovery play, it's not a bad chart. So these are on our watch list. I'm tempted. If they sell this market off, I'm tempted to step in and begin to start nibbling on these shares. And with that, folks, remember tonight, Sunday Night Futures Live. Everybody have a profitable trading day. Please smash that like button if you would. And I will talk to you soon. Be well.